Hey everyone, hope everything's going well. It's the post national. We've seen some card values go down. Okay. We've seen this Tom Brady PSA 236. It's from Card Ladder. Okay. Number 236 is what, 5,500, and what some of the sales today was like 4,200. Okay. I keep on looking at this because once again, I've had this card in my possession. Earlier this year, if you go back, I think February is actually 1,300 bucks. I thought it was 700 bucks, but I looked at some charts. What, 1,300 to 5,500? Pretty impressive in what, a 3 month span. Let's look at Fleer 86 PSA 9. July 11th is about 53.6 thousand, and now it's 42,000 as of what, a couple of days ago. PSA 9. Fleer 86 card. Now here's the 2003, and once again, all on Card Ladder. 2003 Topps LeBron James number 221, PSA 10. Okay. You can see July 24th before the National 8,500. Where's it now? It's gone down to what, 7,100. Okay. We're seeing a correction. People are saying, okay, we're tapped out. We're not going to be buying as much because we spent an arm and a leg at the National. Could be the case. Now we should follow the trends. I would argue that cards went berserk this year because of the hype cycle. And it's essentially the sports card and trading card hobby pumping and not giving you proper information because they have a conflict of interest. They're fully vested in this hobby, or they're fully invested in this hobby big time, right? I speculate too, but I'm going to tell you what I think. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be right. But notice there's a conflict of interest. And in order for these to continue to be pumped, they can't give you the correct information because that's perceived as negative. It's perceived as negative because it hurts their pocketbooks, right? The more, in air quotes, negativity there is, the less price appreciation for these cards. Now, I do believe next 10 to 15 years, we're going to see something more than a hype cycle. And that's because the US debt is out of control and people will want to place their money in alternative assets. I believe they're going to go into gold, silver, copper, palladium, platinum, and I do believe they're going to go into cards as well. They're going to go into other commodities. They're going to go overseas in their stock market because ultimately your dollar is going to be buying less, in my opinion, in the next 10 to 15 years. $2 trillion deficits year after year adding to the national debt is not sustainable. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And this is why you're going to see these things go berserk, in my opinion, in the next 10, 15 years. But I do believe there will be another decent buying opportunity. Okay. 2022 was one. I did buy some cards. I should have been a little more aggressive. Sold some of those cards. I kept some of them. I still have some from the pandemic. Slowly but steadily getting rid of those cards right now. And look at this, right? The sports card hobby, trading card hobby, they don't want to give you the information. And I just asked Chat GPT, right? You could just ask them yourself. Why does trading card hobby avoid topics like Logan Paul's illustrated card was a PSA 9 a few times before becoming a PSA 10? Right? The PSA 10 became a centerpiece because it was a $5.25 million card to $16.5 million. Right? Once Logan Paul, this is from AI. Once Logan Paul bought it, the narrative became the PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator is in existence. And this is now like all over the news, right? It sold for $16.5 million. This is what came out of it. But this is just like Bond 73 home runs. There's an asterisk around the sale, in my opinion. Here's what AI highlighted: expose the uncomfortable subjectivity of grading. If a card can be PSA 9, PSA 9, then PSA 10, then collectors have to confront the question they don't want to hear. What does a PSA 10 represent? Right? And because the sports card hobby and the hobby elite don't want to cover this because there's a huge conflict of interest among market participants to control the narrative, you're not going to see a lot of people discuss this because in their eyes it hurts their pocketbooks. It could also cost some of their jobs, to be completely honest. Okay. And then I also asked AI, why does the sports card hobby avoid topics like Goonblock, right? Goonblock, what, Nick? That dude? They covered in these forums how this dude used to, what, shillbid, manipulate, fake comps, pretend to be Asian. Like, dude, cultural appropriation to the nth degree, man. Pretending to be a different race. But this is what these guys do. Their buddies cover it up. You're not going to get this information out. Only a few outlets will cover it. And then bada bing, bada boom, you rip off the common Joe. The next cycle continues. That's how it goes. And you've artificially pumped up these cards because of this, you could say, hype cycle, market manipulation, call it whatever you want. But this rise this year was because of the hype cycle. What happens? Going back to this Tom Brady card, right? Reality kicks in saying that, hey, look, maybe you're not supposed to 3x your cards in about 6 months. And then slowly but slowly, you see like a 2022, 2023 like situation, or 2020, end of 2021 and towards like the mid half of 2022, where no one wants to touch these things. That will probably be a good time to buy, right? Just assume that you saw the jobs numbers, right? 23,000 jobs lost, right? Last month. What happens when it's 200,000 jobs that get lost? Dollar skyrockets, yen carry trade unwinds. People have to sell their collectibles to meet ends meet. Unfortunately, some people will have to do that, or just, live the lifestyle that they are. They're like, hey, look, I need to sell some of these cards just to get by, just to do what I used to do. It's going to happen to them. It'll be an opportunity for those individuals. So I'm just looking at this right now. I'm like, hey, it may be time to sell some of these, maybe put into T-bills, separate those funds, take those funds out when everything gets doom and gloom, jump right back in. And once again, I do believe next decade, with all of this debt in this U.S. economy, it's going to make some of these cards go berserk, in my opinion. It's going to make gold and silver go berserk. It's going to make crude oil go berserk. Because our purchasing power down the road, I'm not talking about 1 to 2 years from now, down the road, a lot of issues. A lot of issues on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, running these $1 trillion deficits. Not sustainable whatsoever. Anyways, I'll leave a comment down below. I'm going to try to do some podcasts in the next few months. So catch some of those in the not near distance future or in the near distance future. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.